Okay, so to recap, I have just set you off to appear into a busy airport. So what I'm trying to do here is to show you what it may feel like to be completely disorientated. So I've said, we're in a training session right now. I click my fingers and suddenly you're in a busy airport. Okay, so I asked 3 questions. The first question was, what's happening around you? So that's the wrong screen. Is that the right? Are you seeing what's happening around? What's happening? What are you feeling? Is that what you're seeing? Brilliant. Yeah. Great. Okay. So let's try the technology. I guess the best way to do this is if you all kind of unmute and then, you're just going to have to sort of shout over each other. I'm sure it'll work out fine. So what's happening around you? What sort of things did you have?
Noisy.
Noisy? Busy. What did you say?
People.
Yeah.
People knowing what they're doing.
Rushing around.
Okay.
Bustle.
Okay, so lots of people rushing around, and somebody said that they know what they're doing. So there are people.
Because they're going, because they know what they're doing, don't they? They're going, they're checking their cases in and all that. So.
Going on holiday.
Yeah. Wishful thinking.
It's funny, isn't it? Because there's always somebody in this session who says, "Where's my passport?" I'm quite excited by this. Okay, so there's hustle and bustle, and there's people who know what they're doing. Now, just think about what that's like when everyone else around you has a purpose. Yeah, what that might feel like. Okay, what else are you seeing? What's going on? So you said it's noisy. What sort of noises?
Voices.
Voices?
Lots of voices.
Yeah.
Excited chatter, people excited, people
different languages.
Yeah. So communication that we might not understand. What else? What are you seeing?
A lot of working
in.
Oh, 2 people at once. So there were signs. Somebody mentioned signs. That's important, isn't it? There's lots of information coming at us visually.
They're very bright as well, airports, aren't they? Usually.
What was that? Sorry, Lee.
They're very bright places, aren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, bright, almost like you're in the spotlight, isn't it? So sensory overload.
Lots of people working with uniforms on.
Yeah. Yep. Anything else?
Crying.
Crying.
Babies crying.
Yeah.
There's lots of emotion at an airport.
Oh,
happy, sad.
That's a really good point.
I was going to suggest that there's lots of ways of moving around, like escalators and the things that you get on and you keep
moving
going.
Floors.
Travelator things.
Travelators, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay, brilliant. So that kind of gives us a snapshot, doesn't it, of what's happening around us in this scenario. Now, remembering that we've just kind of landed there with no real sort of understanding of how we got there or what's going on. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling excited because at the moment you can't go on holiday, so maybe you'd be really excited thinking you are going on holiday.
Okay.
I think you'd be quite stressed and anxious because you wouldn't necessarily understand what on earth is going on around you.
Yeah. And notice the two answers there from 2 different people were very different. And I think that that's really key here. So for some people, so bringing this back to dementia is that feeling that some people, in an environment that they don't know and they don't understand can still feel an amount of excitement because they feel okay with themselves. And then for others of us, not being in control is huge. So not knowing where you are and what's about to happen will cause a lot of stress and anxiety. Michelle, I think I talked over you then.
No, I think we were, sorry, I just said that I would be frightened and confused.
Yeah. Frightened and confused.
It's different types of adrenaline rush, isn't it? That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
So some people will get an adrenaline rush and feel scared. Other people will be like, what's going on? Why am I here? But let's find out. And other people will just be, but that's in their nature, isn't it? It's whoever the person is, isn't it?
It's interesting, isn't it, when any of us are scared, how different we all are, because actually all of this comes to just being scared. Everything comes down to being scared. We are hardwired, aren't we, to look for threat. So if we're ever in a situation like this where we can't make sense of anything, then like you said, Nikki, the adrenaline is going to be very much running around, and we will all respond differently to that. So some of us will want to go and rock in a corner or go somewhere dark and hide, and some of us will want to take control. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. Is that you, Nikki? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next, and you jolly well will do it. And
not quite on that line, but I do tend to take control of things. Yeah. I prefer to be, I know people tend to rely on me to make the decisions and to sort things out, and
that's because your role, hasn't it? You're kind of,
it's been my role as a mum, hasn't it? And now my friends that I go away with, they all sort of like expect me to sort it all out.
Yeah. That's it. It becomes a role, isn't it? It plays out.
Yeah.
And so you could quite easily say that in that scenario with dementia, you would be very similar. You would do the same patterns. We do the same patterns again and again. Would anyone feel anything else? So excited, stressed, anxious, frightened, confused.
I felt panic and insecure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that
vulnerable, I guess.
Sorry, Lee.
I was going to say, I put down vulnerable. You'd feel quite vulnerable, wouldn't you?
Yeah, vulnerable. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm going to move with the power of technology because I can't get to the other side of my screen. I'm going to move to what you need now. So bearing in mind all of that stuff, feeling stressed, anxious, frightened, confused, feeling panic, feeling vulnerable, what do you need? So when you feel that way, what do you need? And there's no right and wrong to this. You'll all need different things.
My phone.
You need a friendly face.
Yeah, okay. So 2 things there, the phone and a friendly face. Now, I want to pick up on both these points. Phone. Whenever I go away, I don't go away much till no one does at the moment.
Nope.
If I go away from home, there are 2 things that I will constantly check that I have. One is my phone and one is my wallet, right? So if I've got those 2 things, it doesn't matter if I lose my luggage. Well, of course it does matter, but it doesn't matter too much because if I've got my wallet and I've got my phone, I can get out of any situation. And you see this again and again in a care home environment where you see men particularly walking around tapping their back pocket. They're looking for their wallet. Their wallet's been in their back pocket all their life. And then they move into a care home and they no longer have possessions. And it's no different to me being away, checking I've got my wallet and checking I've got my phone, because I've got those 2 things. I feel safe. I don't need to take the cognitive, I don't need to think anymore about it. Just check. You know, when you get that little bit of anxiety that comes up in your tummy And then there's something that you do that quashes it. For me, that's check my phone, check my wallet. Anxiety, gone. It's that simple. Yet we take this stuff away from people that has been their tool for their whole entire life of feeling less anxious when they're not at home. And if somebody is feeling like they're not at home, something like that is that simple. Those key things. For ladies, very often it's the handbag. Where's my handbag? Where's my handbag? It doesn't need to have anything in it. Just where is it? I need to have it because that's my thing. That's where my stuff is. Okay, so that's on the phone. And then you said friendly face. So important, isn't it? How amazing a friendly face is. Somebody just to smile at you and say, can I help you? You look a bit distressed. Is there something that I can do for you? And very often it's actually that moment where we are frightened and we have somebody who's kind to us that we start crying, don't we? Because it's like, don't be nice to me. I'm going to cry. It's true, though. And that's what we want. We want this friendly face. And there is no reason why we can't be those friendly faces in our communities. So if somebody's in co-op and they're a bit distressed, there's no reason why we can't approach someone and say, you know, you seem a bit distressed. Can I help you? Or somebody who looks a bit lost at the bus stop and they're not sure which bus to get on. We can be those people in communities that take that extra step. And very often we're scared to do it because we think we're going to get it wrong. And I would rather that we made mistakes and got it wrong sometimes. And that people with dementia can thrive because they've got all these friendly people around them who are able to help them live well in their own communities. Okay, so phone, friendly face. What else did you need?
Space.
Space. Yeah. So there's nothing like being stressed and then having people everywhere. I always liken it to when I'm in the kitchen getting a roast together on a Sunday. You know that last bit when you have to get the roast together and everything's everywhere and the gravy's boiling over and then loads of people are in the kitchen. You just want to go, get away, because you're stressed.
They ask you if they can help you, and you're like, it's more hassle to explain to you what I need you to do than just do it myself.
Go away. Yeah, absolutely. That's stress, you know, that it's stressful and you just want space. You just need space to think, don't you? Just okay. Anything else?
At the moment, Laura, I need a sanitizer, and if I don't say I need my sanitizer.
Yeah.
Because I've got two little boys and they touch everything. So yeah, that's become my little thing.
Yeah.
So I would need that.
So that's a new thing, isn't it, in our lives? Isn't it interesting? Yeah. But it gives you peace of mind, doesn't it? So that anxiety goes away. Anything else?
I'd want an explanation, I think.
Yeah. We would, wouldn't we? It's like the elephant in the room, isn't it? So how did I get here? Could someone explain to me? Because the last thing that I remember, I was in a training session and now I'm in the middle of an airport. How did that happen? And then if someone says to you, Lee, oh, you've had a bang on the head. You know, someone explains it to you somehow. You had a bang on the head a week ago and you've kind of lost some time, but you're all right now and you're on your way home. Like filling in that story makes it a bit easier. And for some people, that is talking to them about their dementia. Some people are very open to talking about their dementia. They're saying to them, you don't remember because of your dementia, but this is what happened before, and it's just that you don't remember it, but everything's okay. I promise you, you're with the right people. We used to have this lady who used to come to our group, and she used to she had very little short-term memory and was always disorientated and would often be very distressed. And I used to be able to tell exactly when she was going into the cycle because you could see the anxiety build for her. And if you let it build, it would get to the point where she was so panicky. And she would say, am I in the right place? I don't know where I am. And she'd be so distressed. And we learnt to get in before any of that anxiety, just as she started to look around. And then we would give her the answers that we knew that she would ask when she got to that point. So you're in the right place, you're with the right people, and your daughter's going to be picking you up at 4 o'clock. Yeah, so I've given all the information for her to go, ah. So it's like quashing that anxiety again with facts. So yes, Lee, really good point. Explanation goes a long way for somebody. So can you see how this scenario that I've put you through, which sounds a bit bizarre, is very, very similar to being in a scenario as somebody living with dementia, and that could be anywhere. So I was running a memory cafe for a few years as a volunteer, and I'll always remember a man coming with his wife, and the carers used to go upstairs for a time so that they could spend some time together and share what they were going through. Very often they hadn't spoken to someone since the last time. And then I would do a group for the people with dementia downstairs, which was all very light-hearted and lots of fun. And I had this gentleman who was in the group, and I remember seeing him just turn ashen, and he looked so frightened and kind of made his way to the corner of the room. You know, sometimes you just want to sort of go away to somewhere a bit safe, and that's what he did. And I could see he was very distressed, and he just said, I just want my wife. I just want my wife. And it was at that moment actually that I kind of developed this exercise, because I was really seeing him in my mind, of it being very similar to us, any one of us being in that busy space with lots of noise, lots of stuff going on, people knowing what they're doing, you know, people having fun, people looking excited, and him just thinking, I just need my wife. I just need my wife. So I hope that was helpful in terms of a sort of an activity to kind of give you an idea of what it might feel like to experience being disorientated. And what did you get from it? Was that useful?
I think it just kind of gives you an idea of how these ones that are experiencing dementia feel. It puts you on the other side, because sometimes it is all good and well talking about it and explaining how these ones feel, but to then put ourselves in that kind of situation just gives you a little bit more empathy.
Yeah.
To help you understand.
Good, thank you, Anna.